So the film name is actually for Nonna Anna, and it was released in January 19, 2018. And the film is actually directed and produced by Luis D. Philippis. So Luis D. Philippis is actually a Canadian Italian trans that use a powerful female gaze to promote the otherness using films. The story is actually about a transgender woman who is caring for her grandmother and reminiscing about their past in creating a future bond. So the films comes close to with the two main characters forming a bond, largely due to their honesty regarding to difficulty to accepting their own personal change through times. So the story begins with the scenes of main character, which is Christina, and she was cleaning the bathroom, and then her mother came with an old lady, which is her grandmother, named Nonna. And Nonna is actually ill and unable to clean herself. So her mother brought Nonna to the bathroom to give her a bath. When the mother wants to remove Nonna's clothes, she insists on doing that. But when Christina comes out from the bathroom, she begins to remove her clothes. Then the scene changes to where Christina is feeding Nonna in the dining room, and both of them is actually didn't have any eye contact, and they both sit there with silence. When Christina wants to bring Nonna to the bedroom, she stopped at the toilet and asked Nonna if she want to go to the toilet, and Nonna didn't want to go, and she put Nonna to bed. At night, at night before Christina went to bed, she cleaned and packed things in the dining room, such as packing up the plates, the mugs, and when she was packing, she found an old tape that named Nonna and Chris 1996. When she plays the video, it actually shows a footage of a child boy playing at the backyard of Nonna's house, and another footage of a boy dressing up Nonna clothes. And the boy is actually herself, and she felt love and bond with Nonna by watching the tape. The next day, when she woke up and went to Nonna's bedroom, she saw that Nonna already wet her bed. She felt angry and decided to clean up the bed. After Christina cleans up the bed, she brings Nonna to the bathroom to give her a bath. So the film actually shows how the bonding between two different characters, even though they have different genders. And the question is that how the viewer sees in this film from another perspective, because in this film, in our opinion, that shows that the old generation felt that being transgender is a big mistake, and how Chris and Christina encourage Nonna to let her know that her grandchild is always gonna be her grandchild. How do people feel towards transgender society? So transgender society is actually a topic or a category that can affect the society in the good way or in bad way. And transgender is not a new thing. It has been known since 1950s and 1960s. But in the era 2000, most of the society thinks that transgender is a big problem to their self. So what is transgender? Transgender refer to people who is gender identity, gender expressions, or behavior change from that typical society with the sex which they are were born. Most of the society still cannot accept the meaning of transgender, and even though it has been a decade that trans people have noticed in the world, this is because some culture and some society have their own religion, and the religion guides them to what is wrong and what is right, and most of them say that transgender are wrong. Some people sees that transgender as a bad thing that happened to the world, even though they are also human being their own rights. People have their own feeling, and some society have their own feeling towards transgender people. So Hannah Morgan, Hannah Morgan is actually a researcher that research on this kind of topic, and her research shows that most of the people feel disgust, fear, and pity most of the time. Meanwhile, one third of the research says that they cannot choose because some of them were new to this kind of topic or category in transgender meaning. So the film shows that Christina is trying to unclothe her grandmother, which is Nonna, but Nonna didn't want to take off her clothes because Nonna still thinks that Christina still her grandchild as a boy. And from our perspective, that we see that Nonna is still confused with Chris or Christina gender, even though Christina looks like a woman. And according to the research, most people unsure about accepting their transgender. So next is actually the film itself. So the film actually give a good impact in the topic of what we're talking about. And for example, the film give a support for viewers by creating a scene without any script, only body movements and camera angle. And this is because film can be a language and be viewed by the public as an art of message. So in this film, Christina shows the expression of how she bonding with her grandparents in the footage, which is the footage in the tapes. And the expression that she gave is actually the feeling of being in love. And this is because humans are easily to express their own feelings, and most film shows those expression to the audience to order to connect the audience with the films.
Okay, for the next topic is how to understand the transgender people among our society. As we all know, the transgender people are really having a hard time these days to be accepted or welcome into their society. Many people seems to treat them unequally, and also they are not trying to understand them, because all the people thinks that these transgender people are a bad person because they made a bad choice. Some people like to bully them, like to make fun of their appearance, insult them for make their choice, and but some others treat them equally and respectfully. All of our action can cause them to feel abandoned, and also they will feel unwanted into the society. As we can do, we as a person, we really need to understand them so that we can change our mind and our thought on them. In this film, it shows that one of the example we can follow in order to understand these transgender people. In films, it shows that Christina or Chris' mother call her by her female name, which is Christina, before her mother left for work after helping her grandmother. Okay, from this act, that one thing that we can learn is in film, we can make the transgender people feel comfortable with the pronouns that her mother used. We as an ordinary people, we should not judge the appearance or the identity of these people. Okay, second, the transgender people did not like to be described based on their birth sex. They rather to be described as their gender identity, based on their appearance, their behavior, their hairstyle, their voice, and also their body characteristic. Okay, based on this film that we know, Chris or Christina, that she have a long hair, she wear a dress like a woman. Okay, and from this point that we can know, these transgender people are quite sensitive with this topic. They seem to be uncomfortable the way people judging them based on their birth sex. We should understand them and ask them politely on what they would like to be described or their pronouns. If the transgender people feel really uncomfortable to tell about themselves, we as a normal people should respect the decision and just describe them based on their appearance. This is the only way that we can maintain the harmony and make the transgender people feel comfy and acceptable into our community or society. Many transgender people affected by the discrimination of other people. We should support them, treat them like they are belong into our society. Okay, in this film, it shows that how her grandmother still can accept her grandchild, who is one of the transgender. This affects Christina feels. She will feel she being disowned by her own grandmother. Feelings can affect their emotion and how their expression towards other people. From this movie, it shows that some people still can accept that transgender like Christina is the problem, and they all think like these people should not be welcome into their society. While in the other case, as we all know, Christina mother, who is so friendly with her, is the only family members that can accept that change happen on Christina and fully accept her decision and support her at all costs.